The start of this week's episode of SmackDown saw Drew McIntyre arrive at the building. My hand went up. It's like, Drew, you do not understand what suspended means. This is why that War Games rule is absolutely ridiculous, because Drew now thinks, I can do whatever I want. Also, his plan totally sucked, because Nick Aldis then walked in and said, Drew, you can't do this. McIntyre's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, when he just decided to leave. I have no idea. So Nicky must have Jedi mind powers. When he got back in his car, somehow Cody Rhodes had snuck in. And essentially, Cody Rhodes committed a felon, because my gosh, he beat the absolute piss out of Drew McIntyre. Now, to be fair, Cody Rhodes then just stormed to the ring, so it was quite a, oh my gosh, start to SmackDown. Also, hello, my friends. Welcome to Ups and Downs, the only Wrestle Review show you need. And if you can believe it, we're like 1 week away from John Cena's last ever match. And as somebody who has been watching wrestling for that entire time, good grief, do I feel old. Also, thank you very much to Norton for supporting this video and sponsoring this video and all those things. We have a link down there in the description to get this VPN, which of course is going to keep you safe online and allow you to choose what region you watch your content from, which may tie into Saturday night's main event. It's totally up to you, and you're going to get more than 70% off. There also should be a QR code so you can smack that one too. And if you're in Australia, it's different from being in Europe, and it's different from being in America, and it's different from being in other places. We'll guide you through it, okay? But thank you very much then for sponsoring the video. Now let's take the finger of power and up the downs for SmackDown. But yeah, Cody did run to the ring. He was like, Drew McIntyre, I can't stand you. And at first I was like, why are we going back to this feud? And then Rhodes went, you beat me on my bus a couple of weeks ago, and that's where I spend time with my family and my kids. I was like, oh yeah, he did do that. And he left Cody in that bizarre position. And even now I'm thinking about it, I don't know how he ended up that way. Cody has decided, though, that Drew is nothing more than a cockroach, and of course a cockroach can even, survive a nuclear fallout. So he told Nicky Aldis to reinstate Drew McIntyre, because essentially he wants to whip his ass. This is very interesting. We are quite clearly going to the third match. And if Drew McIntyre doesn't win that one, what the flub are we doing? But once again, Randy Orton wasn't on this show, which is getting very curious. I think somehow this is all going to tie in. If I was going to pull the most ridiculous situation out of my behind, I'd probably say maybe Randy Orton cost Cody Rhodes the WWE title. Although, yeah, that's 2 + 2 equals potato. How does that make any sense? I just don't think Drew can go 0-3. That's going to do nothing for him. But I tell you this, at first, given that I did think this was a bit long in the tooth, I'm still going to give it an up, because Cody Rhodes, he understood the assignment. He went totally crazy here. By the end of it, I was like, damn it, you got me. I then laughed out loud because DIY were backstage going, we're going to win that US title. And it was an open challenge when they let Carmelo Hayes just walk past him and he went, I've got next. So they are so bad at this. And of course, Melo called Tommaso Ciampa a jackass, because that's the name that we're trying to get over. He is an ass named Jack. Even though his name's Ciampa, I don't know why you watch this show. We also had this Damian Priest video, and essentially we're finally getting this big tag team match next week, because yes, he is re-duoing, which is not a term, with Rhea Ripley. And I say this, right? I do like it. I think those two together have great chemistry. And the video that Alistair and Black and Zelina Vega cut later also worked. But I kind of think whatever we do in 7 days' time, it has to be the end, okay? This thing has just been going on. And this is really too drawn out. I'm going to hold fire for now, because you can see that they're giving it their all. But somebody just needs to inject something into this. Although ending a feud on a tag team match seems kind of strange. I'm going to park this one for now. And also, screw it, I'll talk about it. Zelina Vega, in her promo, had a snake around her neck. And nobody addressed this. I guess now we can call her Zelina Snake. What? We went right into Carmelo Hayes versus Ilja Dragunov for the US title, and once again, it's just so easy to watch, because as always, they have a chat in the back where they go, well, I'm going to kill you, and the other guy goes, well, I'm going to kill you, and it really does make for some compelling television. I mean, Ilja must have booted Carmelo in the face so hard about 3 times, and on one of them, he fell to the outside, and because he was so intense, he basically hurt himself, and Carmelo was like, well, I'm not really a babyface, I'm not really a heel, but I do want that championship, so damn it, I'm going to take advantage. Dragunov was still able to German suplex him all around the place. All of a sudden, Carmelo came back with springboards, and he hit a DDT, I believe. When he went for the first 48, so that didn't work, so Dragunov was like, I'm going to hit you with an H-bomb, and that didn't work. When Carmelo was hitting the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll at full 1-2 ooze. And while I never actually thought that Carmelo was going to win, surely this is yet another advert for WWE that just reads, push Carmelo in 2026. Then got another boot to the face. This is when Hayes threw Ilja Dragunov to the outside. And once again, that land looked absolutely terrible. And just when it looked like Melo was going to hit his finisher, of course, out came Tommaso Ciampa, and he pushed him off the top rope put a 1 on the dick board. At the time, the referee was trying to deal with Ilja as well, who like he was dead when he got to his feet, and he hit all his moves, including the H-bomb, when he got the 1, 2, 3. But after this, he saw on the big screen what had happened, and Ilja Dragunov melted down. He is an honorable US champion, so Tommaso Ciampa and your stupid beard, how dare you do this to me? So of course, we're finally going to do that match next week, which kind of gets rid of the point of an open challenge. But I am going to give this an up. I talked about it on a video the other day. If you want to keep that belt on Dragunov all the way to WrestleMania and build a super duper whooper match there, I wouldn't be against it at all. Because he's had, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 open challenges so far, and every single one has been great. And as for Carmelo, good grief, he deserves more. Up. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were then talking about War Games, and now they are out the other side. They want to go back after their tag team titles because they're bigger friends than ever. When Charlotte went to rest her head on Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss was wearing a spiky coat, so Charlotte hurt her face. I'm not kidding, that's what happened. I mean, you think Charlotte would have known. We also then cut to an interview with LA Knight, who for some reason had his back to camera to begin with, and you know what he was going to say here. He is taking on Gunther later, and actually in terms of his legacy, it's all about getting past the ring general and beating John Cena, because that is something you can talk about until the cows come home. Now, I think deep down in our tum-tums, we all knew that Gunther was going to get the victory. LA Knight, he can talk you into the building, man. Well, I am very sad to say, while he tried very hard, he lost. We then went right into Alexa Bliss versus Kairi Sane because, of course, we do continue to build this women's tag team division. And that's why I have no problem with it at all. Like, the ending was a little bit fuddy-duddy. I was like, oh, man, why do we have to do more distraction, interference, and confusion? But sometimes I think beggars can't be choosers. And over the last few weeks, these championship belts finally feel like they mean something. And I've been going on about that for ages. I was very pleased with this. Also, I thought the match was fun. And of course, Asuka and Charlotte Flair kept getting involved. At one point, Asuka was on the ring apron, so Charlotte just went, nope, I'm going to take you away. And I think Kairi tried to exit stage left, so of course, Charlotte Flair stopped her too. Asuka was in the corner the whole time being like, man, I don't like this because I'm crazy. At one point too, Alexa actually hit her own version of natural selection. And I'm surprised she didn't go friends, as she did hit this. And also, it is WWE. I get that it's new WWE. But you would imagine if we were going the stereotypical line, which apparently I can't say, one of these guys is going to turn on the other. Wait and see. The finish was really cool though, because after Charlotte and Asuka got into it, Kairi Sane was going for the insane elbow, but Sister Abigail caught her. That was the wrong way around. Alexa Bliss caught her, gave her the Sister Abigail. Imagine Sister Abigail just ran in. Anyway, she hit that DDT, she got the 1, 2, 3, and that rhymes, so it must be true. When, yes, Nia Jax and Lash Legend ran in, and they beat up everybody because they don't care about the heel-face dynamic, which I guess is kind of interesting because they did team with the Kabuki Warriors at Survivor Series. Now listen, Lash Legend is more than deserving of her place on the main roster, and nobody does Nia Jax better than Nia Jax. But these two got to do some promos, and these two got to do some talking. At the moment, they're just friends, because everybody needs friends. And look, that's like a good message to send out there. You want to have buddies, but it's wrestling and we're nerds and we need more. But look, I am going to give it an up. You've got so many teams, and you have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and there's a bunch of other people you can put together as well. Plus there's Raquel Rodriguez and there's Roxanne Perez. Keep it going, man. We're finally back up. Cody and Nick Aldis are then having a chat. Nick actually said to Cody, you must calm down, because we've got business to do. But this is actually quite cool. We went into a room where apparently we had captured Alba Femi and Ricky Starks because they weren't allowed to move, but Cody told them, whoever wins your Deadline World title match will be facing Cody Rhodes, at Saturday Night's main event, John Cena is done. So I think that is super cool. Listen, I love Ricky Saints. He should probably be on the main roster too. But my gosh, am I rooting for Alba Femi? Because that man, said it before, I say it again, within 3 years, he should be main eventing WrestleMania. But then we went right into Jade Cargill versus Alba Fyre, which of course does make sense because Chelsea's Secret Hervis fell out with Jade last week. And yes, Chelsea Green was interfering, so put one on the dick board. But I am very confused, like I really am. Why have we taken the US Women's Champion and the World Women's Champion and put them in a feud that doesn't seem to be going anywhere? Plus, Kiana James and Julia walked out at one point and they punched Chelsea Green right in the face. So that kind of comes and goes. I still don't really understand what their relationship is. And also, it was the distraction that allowed Jade Cargill to hit the Jaded to get the 1, 2, 3. I was like, that's not the way to book Jade Cargill, in my very stupid and humble opinion. She should just be destroying fools like she did do 7 days ago. I found this one pretty confusing, and I do not understand the direction. Even more so because after this, Jade Cargill was walking in the back when she bumped into B-Fab and Meechin, who was using a kendo stick like it was a lightsaber. we did this a few weeks ago, and then we never got the match, and now we've kind of just doubled back round to it. As opposed to what I said on Raw 2, Jade, for lack of a better term, is the SmackDown Women's Champion. She should be being put in sort of highlighted positions. This just kind of felt like it came and went. And look, Chelsea Green is incredibly entertaining. I just think we can do more. So it's not on them, but the story is just, well, I don't know what it is. It's just people doing stuff, because we've got to do something. I do think you have to give it a down. But man, I hope they prove me wrong. Fraxium with them being small brats, because they were like, we want to fight DIY, and I think Nick Aldis is going to do this, but not before Ilja Dragunov walked in going, my whole legacy has been ruined, so now I have to kill Tommaso Ciampa. Nick Aldis was like, yeah, you got it next week. Tama Tonga and the MFTs also got in his face, so that does seem to be the long-term direction, because that's happened a few times, and actually I think Ilja versus Tama is a great match, and given that we had seen the MFTs, Solo Sikoa came to the ring, and I tell you, man, this dude, he cut one hell of a promo. He was so damn happy that he had taken out Sami Zayn and friends last week, so now he can focus on the Wyatts. And my gosh, he got deep down and dirty here. After he'd done his big spiel, he essentially went, hey, Uncle Howdy, you took what was his, and I'm sure you can figure that out, so now I'm going to take that from you. And he also told him to bow leave. Oh man, that's doing the dance of joy. You may not remember that if you're a brand new wrestling fan, but it was an old school Bo Dallas gimmick that was great in NXT, and we put it on the main roster, and we never really pulled the trigger, and I may still be a little bit salty about it. Of course, that was all Unk needed to hear, and him and the Wyatts did turn up, and they had a big face-off before they brawled. When we went back to 1984, because the last two guys were Tala I'm the Tallest Tonga taking on Eric Rowan. They punched each other in the face. On this night, it was Rowan who stood tall, so then the Wyatt family very sadly got stuck in the force field that surrounds the ring, and they tried to grab the MFTs, but they weren't able to. I think we're doing the tag team match next week, or at least some sort of big multi-man, and I would assume that the MFTs do have to win, mostly because the Wyatts don't do anything with those belts. I just love Solo Sikoa. He's won me, and in terms of not necessarily wrestlers of the year, but most improved or people that I enjoy watching the most throughout 2025, Solo Sikoa is going to be on that list. I'm giving it up. I think he's great. And then got this bizarre moment where we cut to The Miz and Nick Aldis. The Miz was going, I beat John Cena at WrestleMania 27, so I should be on that Saturday night's main event show. And thankfully Nick was like, well, you're not, all right? Because you're talking about something from 2011 and you must move on. When Bayley walked in, because she is going to be on SNME, and yeah, she's taken on Sol Ruka. So far, we've got two of those matches and I massively approve. They're really good. This is when we did get the Aleister Black and Zelina Vega retort video with the snake. I also think they said to Damian Priest, man, you're going to be so lonely, which actually is quite a horrible thing to say when we got to our main event, the finals of the John Cena tournament, to find out who was going to win John Cena. It was Gunther versus LA Knight, and man, I thought this was superb. I mean, we have set the story up perfectly. Because for a good while, Gunther was absolutely smashing the crap out of LA Knight before he did get back into this. When Gunther was right, well, you have a neck, and I'm pretty sure if I break that neck, you're not going to be able to wrestle. That's what he did. He also kept trying to lock in the sleeper, which is going to tie in massively, when Knight came back with an AA and a burning hammer for a 1-2. This shotgun drop kick that Gunther hit LA Knight with, I think somebody had told him, man, you got to pepper up the sauce, because you are going to be facing John Cena, because good grief, he laid it in. There's also this great DDT reversal into a powerbomb, and at one point Gunther hit two splashes, which LA Knight kicked out of, which kind of told you what was going to happen, as did the fact that La got the BFT. He thought he had the match won, but can you believe it? The ring general got his foot on the ropes at the last second. That's why he calls himself the general of the ring. He understands it like by dimensions, and his brain can just map it out like he's Bluetooth. I know, the stupidest thing I ever said. Gunther then went right back to the sleeper too, because somebody had told him LA Knight hasn't had his 8 hours. But man, LA Knight fought out of that like he was a wiggly worm, when essentially, and I'm being a bit crass here, Gunther turned it into his own version of the STFU. It's basically like a cravat lock, which looked horrible. And man, LA Knight tapped out. And I've seen a few people go, oh man, why didn't he go to sleep? Nah, man, that ain't the right story, because now, given that Gunther has won, it is the man that loves to make people quit or tap out against the dude who at 20 plus years has told you, man, you can never give up. I think that's wonderful. That's essentially what Gunther said into the camera, and fair play to LA Knight for understanding what he had to do here. I understand this tournament's been a bit wishy-washy, but in terms of the last few matches and Gunther's participation, I am giving it an up. I am very excited about this match because I think you can argue it either way. And imagine it is John Cena, who is a traditionalist. He tapped out in his last match. I don't want that. I live in a world where I want to feel good about my life and I want to feel positive, especially because the world is crumbling down around us. So I hope he does win. But if he does not, my gosh, there's going to be some tears. So I was a huge fan of this, and I thought SmackDown ended on a really big note, especially because the commentators told you, oh my gosh, we know who John Cena is going to face. It's still a very strange show. I don't know how going to 3 hours is going to improve it, but based on that main event alone, I'm giving it up. Also, you should check out the US title match too. Otherwise, please do drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. I understand some people are so mad about Gunther. That's what engagement is for, my friends, when you can click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs from Monday Night Raw, which actually was also a good show. I think it's been a good week for wrestling, aside from the fact that I'm fighting this terrible illness, but that's okay. Have a great weekend, my friends. See you next week.